Hallo und herzlich willkommen von Donkey Shane. My name is Terrence Hartnett. This is going to be an English and German speaking podcast. What a project. What an interesting thing. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. My guest today is Robin Vincent, hilarious English speaking Viennese comedian. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
I wasn't sure whether I should wave or just
waving
grin,
is bad.
or waving is bad.
Waving is bad. This is an audio medium.
Okay.
You can't. The mics can't hear your wave.
Well, I tried.
Yeah, but how long? So how long have you been doing comedy in Vienna?
Well, I started comedy in Vienna,
Okay.
and I've been doing it for a little less than 2 years.
Okay.
I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's been.
Because I met you like a year ago.
Yeah.
And you've been doing comedy for a year when
Exactly.
I moved here. Okay.
I think I met you just after you'd moved here and started doing gigs.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, a real comedian. Like, this is
Sorta,
exciting.
yeah.
No, that was fun.
Not really. Well, thanks a lot. Did you ever think about doing comedy in German, or have you ever?
So my first ever stand-up set was in German because it was sort of a bucket list item for me. I was like, I have to, pose this challenge to myself because I was, trying to learn the language and trying to get better at making jokes at work so I can, fit in with my colleagues and stuff.
Oh.
So it was like a 5-minute set in the basement of some godforsaken bar. I tried it. It went okay. But people were like, oh, she's foreign and she speaks German. And that was kind of intoxicating for me.
For you?
Yeah.
They liked it?
Yeah, they
Okay.
liked it, strangely enough.
How long ago was that? Was that before your English career
That
had
was,
begun?
yeah. So that was I think in November, 3 years ago. And then I took a break and then I started doing English comedy the following spring.
Why didn't you roll with it and do the German, I'm a foreigner, I'm an American speaking German vibe?
Because I don't know. I think I had some other things going on at the time. I was sort of just oh, I don't know if I really feel like I belong to the scene. It's obviously
The German-speaking comedy
The
scene.
German-speaking comedy scene. It's very it's very sarcastic. It's very male-dominated.
Okay.
Not that that's necessarily a
Big
bad thing.
surprise.
Yeah. And I feel like German humor has this subtlety that is a little bit difficult when you're not it's not your first language.
Is it subtle? Is it subtle for you too?
Well, okay. It depends
Or is
on
it
the
just
type.
bald sarcasm?
It's just,
when they
it's
speak
so-
English and they think they're being funny, to me, Austrians, and they think
Yeah.
they're being funny, they're just doing a basic sarcasm, stating the obvious while wiggling their eyebrows,
That's
Stating
okay.
the opposite of the
That
obvious.
is also true. I think it's because with my limited language skills at the time, I was kind of oh, this is very new and novel, and they're using big words and they're also funny, and I don't know which point to laugh at.
Wow. Okay.
So I gotta step up my game. But I don't know, for whatever reason, it was easier.
Do you think about it now? Doing any comedy in German?
I have done comedy in German,
Okay.
actually. I've done it I think 3 times since then. And it helps me with economy of words, strangely enough.
Why?
Because in English, I have a tendency to ramble. Someone might notice this as the podcast goes on.
That's excellent for podcasts.
Yeah,
That's all podcasts are.
That's why I'm here. This is great.
Don't apologize for that ever.
Well, I didn't apologize. I just said that that's what I do.
Fantastic.
But it helps with economy of words, because in English comedy, I have trouble bringing a punchline, you kind of have to zap in and grab the audience's attention.
When,
I feel
at the end?
Yeah,
Zap in?
Zap in. I don't know. Is that a phrase I can use? I feel like it's I have more trouble doing that.
What do you mean zap in?
Okay, you have the setup, and then you have the line that you have to deliver in a way so that the audience is oh, I get it.
Gotcha.
And then I'm gonna laugh.
That's you. Zapping in.
Zapping in.
You set it up. You zap into the punchline, then you zap the hell out of there.
I have such a weird reputation for just using inappropriate phrases or phrases that are English words, but not really an English term. My friends in middle school, I was bullied for 6 months because I was trying to explain to someone how they should make an origami crane. Mm-hmm. And I said, you have to jazz it around a little bit to make it so it works. Everyone understands, but people thought it was
stupid. It and you go, boop, boop, skiddly doop, bop, ba-da-ba-da-ba.
You just scat sing at your origami and then it works.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, no.
You jazz it around.
You jazz it around. Exactly.
Middle schoolers love pointing out something that's
origami.
wrong.
Okay, yep, that's how it works.
Were you reading that thing about the crane, the 1,000 Cranes, that short story about if you make 1,000 cranes, you get
Oh,
better.
you like heal all of your diseases.
See, you know about this, right?
Yes.
And someone had cancer, and then they made a bunch of cranes.
Mm-hmm. Did someone make you 1,001 cranes? Or
No, I had cancer, and I'm better now. I don't know, but I remember
maybe I shouldn't have said that. Okay.
No, I had cancer. It's okay. I mean, it's just like there might be a lot for a listener. Like, oh my God, is he okay? I'm fine.
He's fine. He's making jokes.
Yeah, cancer. Blah blah blah. But did you read this? Is this some story we all had to read?
I think so.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like you have these shared things because there's some sort of curriculum that's being set for everybody. Anyway,
it's an empathy curriculum. Okay, you're supposed to learn there is hope in the world, right? Like you make cranes, then you get better. There's also I don't know.
Yeah, it's also world literature. I think it was a Japanese story. I assume. I don't think it was some girl in Texas making cranes. You know what I mean? I just don't buy that. I made a paper bird.
Oh,
Shut
Papa, I'm gonna give you a bird and you're gonna get better. What accent was that?
Mama, I don't know, honey. I mean, mine was more of a Georgia drawl. I don't know about Texas. I made a paper bird. Shut up. Oh, shut up.
I also happen to have a banjo in my mouth, but you can't.
You got to take it like this, then you jazz it around.
Just jazz it all around.
You got a paper bird.
So anyway, going back to doing comedy in German.
The German comedians have a brevity, brevity of word. What's the word?
Economy of words. Economy of words. The economy is terrible right now, so it's okay. Economy's
terrible. It's booming.
Economy of words also needed to be booming though, which is why I wanted to try German comedy.
Inflation of words, something
like that.
Each word's not worth enough. So yeah, did the Germans have an economy of words? Or
they just have really long words, so you can put more thoughts into each word. It's not economy, it's just consolidation. Yeah. That's pretty much what it is, yeah. No, but I like it. It's a challenge to sort of like form your thoughts in a foreign language. It's like, I also think it leads to new combinations because like our brains are programmed in like English syntax and English like combinations of thoughts, and so that when you translate that into like a German context, then you create new word combinations or new sentence things that are sometimes grammatically horrible but like comedically interesting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
you just gotta jazz the words around enough and then
it's fun.
It works.
That's fun. Exactly right. So I think that but I think this is my way in. I think that like thinking about German comedically, or just thinking about just something being, thinking about jokes in German or whatever. I think you need some sort of gasoline to propel you forward. You know what I mean? It's like,
for sure.
And I already got an Austrian partner, and she already wants to be with me. So like, I'm not impressing her anymore. So I need to impress an audience of people with German.
Yeah.
I think it's my way in. Why don't you perform in German anymore? Or do you feel? Okay, sorry. Wait. Separate question. Do you feel as though your German is strong enough to perform?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay.
Like my boyfriend is like grew up near Graz, so like, and we speak German mostly in the relationship, and so that's like helped me be like, oh, he's funny. I can also be funny, and then you have sort of incentive. Like, I guess I'm still trying to impress him with my sense of humor at least. So.
You're not locked in yet. See, like I'm locked in.
Yeah, you're locked in. You're like, I'm just gonna let myself go.
Not letting myself go, but I'm like, the challenge is not there.
Let your sense of humor go. No, just
of course.
Give it free rein is what I'm saying. I don't know.
Let it out.
No, but in terms of being funny, like I think
you can be funny auf Deutsch. You can do that.
I think I could. Yeah.
Why don't you do it more then?
Because it's the scene is stressful. I don't know. I feel like the scene is a little stressful just because if you're already occupied with like the English speaking scene, obviously I feel more comfortable in that scene, like meeting new people, being like spontaneously, especially hosting, much easier in English.
Of course.
Hosting shows, like I would feel supremely awkward in German.
Wow. I guess everyone feels awkward hosting anyway. Or hosting is at the beginning of the show, you're trying to get it warmed up. It's awkward. But this way, even in German, you have the extra layer of a little bit strange.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true.
But do you have an act? Could you translate your jokes? Not all of them.
Some of them are actually better in German.
No way.
There's one in particular that is like more. There are more like opportunities for wordplay in German, I think. And
there are.
Yeah, sometimes. Okay, no, not across the board, but with certain topics that I've dealt with. Maybe I can like tell the joke in the second part when we get into German, or should I do it right now?
Let's try it. No. We'll do, no, that sounds fun. In the second part, when we do German,
second part we'll get into German, and I'll explain maybe the
Yeah,
difference.
I was thinking about. I'm saving my more complex questions for now because I'm like a
Yeah.
I'm like a 3-year-old in German. So
That's fine. I can still tell the joke, and then I make kids laugh too sometimes.
nice. But you might get okay. Do you think there's more career opportunities speaking German doing comedy? Is it like comedy career?
In German rather
Yeah.
than English?
Yeah.
Specifically in Vienna or like in...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Specifically in
There's not
Vienna.
really
It's
German-speaking
not in the
opportunities in the
world.
US.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, next, in New York. Like,
Yeah. In
Carnegie
Austria
Hall
and
in
Germany.
German. No.
Austria in DACH, which I just learned is
DACH?
Deutschland, Austria, DACH.
Dach.
Yeah. Deutschland, Austria, CH, which
In
I
the
guess
roof.
is Switzerland.
In the roof,
Dach. Dachboden.
There you go.
Yeah.
Attic.
Attic.
There you go.
Okay, but yeah, in these places they speak German. You can.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 100 million people.
True. I think there's maybe, like, as a foreigner speaking German, you probably get, like, both sides of the coin. So it might be easier to kind of, like, create a career in this specific area. But at this point, I think I'm still trying to develop as a comedian, period. So it's kind of like I'm sticking with English so that I can have more flexibility with, like, who listens to my stuff and how it sort of gets communicated to an audience.
Okay, interesting.
If that makes any sense.
Yes. Well, yeah, you're just figuring it out. It'd be harder to figure it out in two languages at the same time.
I think so. Well, yeah, it's like sort of. Although sometimes it helps both of them. Like if I think in German, if I write some jokes down in German, then like when I get back into an English mode, I'll be like, oh, there's a new punchline for that, or I didn't think of it from that angle.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's fun. Have you tried to sort of write any kind of like concept or comedic angle in German or start anything?
Sometimes I'll play with words a little bit. Like I'll learn a word that sounds the same. I try to remember like sort of like a pun. Like I'll discover a pun in German that's not the same. Obviously, it's not in English. So I just forget. I just forget it. But I had a couple anyway. But like I'll learn them and I'll be like, does anyone ever make a joke about this? Like da 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 da. And she'll be like, no, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like when you have an English-speaking brain, you see new patterns.
Yeah, they don't think about these words
Yeah.
as sounds. They're so attached to the word.
They don't think
see it
about
from
that at
an outside
all.
Point of view.
Like, did you know, people have talked about this, I'm sure, before, and people know this, but like, did you know the German word for placenta is Mutterkuchen, which means mother cake?
Good.
That's fucking
sounds
weird.
great.
But nobody's like, oh,
That's
it's
like
a cake from a
Handschuhe.
mother. Like, yeah, or
Yeah.
Handschuhe. Handshoes, man.
But
Handshoes.
Mutterkuche it's gross, kind of.
It is kind of gross. I'm sorry to bring that up so early in the thing. It's kind of nasty, but it gives it a sort of whimsical touch, you know? It's a cake, not an organ.
It sounds right. I mean, it's like I'm not even surprised anymore. It's like this is how they work. It's just like
It's just
like
what
why would you
happens,
call it
yeah.
anything else? Why would you make up a whole third word if it's like you already have the
Right.
word for mother
Yeah.
and the word for a delicious round thing that you're supposed to eat? Why not put
So
them
strange.
together?
Just like every third word has Zug in it
Yeah.
in German. That's
Zug
frustrating
is
to me.
Zueg, like Feuerzug, like, or is that you mean train?
there's Zeug and then there's Zug.
I'd say Zeug
And
is what I was
Zug-
thinking of, okay.
Zug is train or like draw
Elevator.
or pull or any number of things. Aufzug. Zug.
Aufzug is what?
Aufzug is
elevator? No.
it pulls you auf. It's an elevator, yeah. This is utterly chaotic. Someone who understands both languages will be like, I understand what she said, but nobody else.
It pulls.
It pulls you up, you know?
It does, yeah, I know.
Right?
But yeah, we
And
have a word
Zug
for
is
that in
pull.
English. Yeah, I know. You speak English, right? The elevator.
Yeah, occasionally.
When did you learn German and how?
Oddly enough, I was about to say something about like picking German. I learned in college because I needed a new foreign language. Spanish didn't really work out for whatever reason. Maybe because I'm too white. I don't know. I don't know if that was true. But for some reason, German was just like, they had a version of German that was called Turbo Deutsch, which meant you learned it in like a month and you worked on it really intensively. It was the
Whoa.
only class we took. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. You didn't take any other classes?
No, it was like...
For a month?
For 1 month, yeah.
Where did you go to school?
Middlebury
Do you mind
College
saying? Okay, cool.
in Vermont. We have this thing called J-term, which is all of January is basically like you take one class and you focus on it intensively. And then there are other like activities that people are.
Okay, so it's turbo everything. You can take
turbo. Yeah, you can take turbo
economics.
like, biochemical engineering or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I chose the language because it sounded more comfortable for my brain.
Wow. Okay, so after 1 month, how far did you get? How did you feel?
Not far. I was terrible when I first started. In fact, my teacher at the time, who then turned out to become my or eventually became my thesis advisor because I switched my major to German.
Wow.
Mostly because it was a relatively easy major and I was already in Germany and I was like, why not?
Oh, nice.
Why wouldn't I just?
What was your major before?
Comparative literature.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was doing comparative literature and then I read this novel where like the author was a translator and he had something in the foreword that was like, I've discovered that there are emotions, I don't know why I'm talking like this, but there are emotions that can be transmitted in the German language that I have yet to find in any other language.
What was the book? I'm dying to know now.
Sartor Resartus by Thomas Carlyle.
Thomas Carlyle,
yeah. He's an Englishman and translator, pretty cool guy. Very obscure book.
Okay.
Very weird. Very niche.
What's the title of it again?
Sartor Resartus. Don't ask me. Don't ask me to translate that.
You're not supposed to say that anymore. Resartus.
Resartus? Does that mean something bad? I feel like
no, it sounds like they are
something that's written on like a dollar bill. I don't know.
Resartus. Yeah, you're right.
It's like in God we trust. Sartor Resartus. Something like that. I don't know.
Or a spell in Harry Potter. Sartor Resartus.
It's like, I just get a book on my face.
Ach du Lieber.
No, and now that I know German, the whole it has more emotions than any other language thing is kind of false advertising.
Really?
That was a little bit frustrating. No, because they don't have more words for emotions. They just stack words on top of each other to avoid talking about emotions. That's how it works.
You came all the way back around to the stereotype from you were like,
yeah, I did.
Sad,
honestly, it was a little sad, but I do think German is an incredibly useful language when you are trying to make an objective point about something that is very important to you. That is the value that it holds for me at this point.
An objective point about something that's important
to you? Yeah, if you want to like distance yourself from the thing at hand and you're like, this is important for whatever scientific reasons or, personal reasons or whatever. It's a very specific way to say, this is why you should listen to me and this is why you should believe what I'm talking about.
Oh, like an essay.
Yeah,
language.
it's a like a verbal essay. It feels like, or a way to get to a verbal essay. And
so, were you looking for those emotions when you were starting to learn? Were you like, where are these emotions? Like,
I was mostly just focusing on not getting an F in the class.
And then where did you go in Germany?
I studied at the University of Mainz.
Mainz
which is it's really close to the Rhine River. Okay. It's near Frankfurt. It's like I
was just there. I don't really, it doesn't matter.
Really?
I was in Frankfurt, yeah.
Nice. Very ugly, but very cool city.
Yeah. Pretty nice.
Nice. Yeah.
It's fine. And
it's fine.
You were there for a semester?
Yeah. And I was there. I was there for a semester and then I extended it to a whole year because I was just like, I want to stay.
And you're a German major at that point.
Yeah.
So it's like you should be there.
Exactly.
And when you were there, let's go from the Turbo Deutsch to your year abroad. What was the time between that? What happened there?
Well, I did like a German summer school, and I also did German theater, which is actually like one of the biggest recommendations I would ever make for someone who's like learning a new language, because theater, it's like when you learn a new language, you're kind of taking on a new identity. And in theater, you also take on a new identity.
Ooh.
And so it's really interesting to kind of like put aside your embarrassment that is inherently a part of like being an incomplete version of yourself in a new language. Because you're like, I'm just being this other person that's already given to me. Like I have the lines, just let me say them. Does that make sense?
It's
super cool. Like if it really helped me kind of like get outside my embarrassment about like, oh my God, I sound terrible. Or like,
wow.
I can't be myself. It's like, well, you don't have to be yourself in theater. You're being someone else.
Wow.
Yeah.
I definitely I love theater, and I am so embarrassed about my German. Like, it's so embarrassing.
That's the biggest reason that people don't get better at languages, because they're just embarrassed to be like alive in that, uncomfortable new identity.
And so you switch back, you go back to English, and everyone else speaks English. It's totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do some theater. That sounds good.
Do some theater.
Or I'm going to memorize monologues. I like memorizing monologues
That's
anyway.
so fun. And then you can like also impress, your fiance
Yeah.
with like memorize very romantic lines, you know?
Yeah, that's
be
so
like-
funny. She's like, how was your day? I go, I've lived 1,000 lifetimes. And I have been through 1,000 meters of
Do it. Just
water.
memorize some Rilke, and then you'll be
And
good.
he's big. Rilke.
Yep.
Dude, I'm doing it. Rilke. Okay, Rilke. That is a good way in. I'm trying to figure out alternative ways in because I think I'm realizing that I am actually not a very good student, and I've never been a good student. I've gotten good grades because I'm a secret genius,
Okay.
but
Secret genius.
secret genius. I would.
You don't tell anybody about
Don't
it
tell
either.
anybody. Do not tell anyone.
That's good.
And do not publish this podcast. Do not put this out. I don't want anyone to know.
put it in a time
bleep
capsule.
it. Just bleep it. I was like, I'm actually a boop boop.
That'd be so- I'm actually a burp, 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 burp.
And everyone's like, what the hell is
But
this
I think
guy?
it's particularly important. Burp, burp, burp.
Anyway, I need I need alternative ways into this language. I've been watching some German comedy to see if I can understand it, and I think it'll motivate me. But I need alternate motivations.
Yeah.
And this podcast is one of them. So putting myself in a position with a German speaker and forcing myself to perform and speak at the same time, and the adrenaline of it, and
That's
like
super
the.
important.
And my German class has stopped now, and I'm not paying for another one because I don't like school. And so we're here. Well, before we switch over, what other advice would you give to somebody who's trying to learn German, such as myself?
Who's learning German? I mean, they say like the best way to learn a language is either to be like fall in love in the language.
Yeah.
To
Too late.
well, you've done that already. So you've cut. You know.
I love English so much. Yeah, that's how I learned English.
Okay, but
When I
still.
met her, I was speaking Polish.
Well, wow. I was gonna ask you. It's like speaking Czech. I don't know. Oh boy.
And you
I
can see
just
how
lost
fluent
my
I
train of
am
thought.
now. That's how much I love.
Yeah.
That's how much I love this lady.
Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
But like, okay, that, you know, falling in love in a context where like the other person does not speak any other language than the one that you're learning,
Exactly.
which of course in your case is not.
But it's
thing.
incredibly motivating. I can see
But
that.
it is motivating.
Yeah.
The other way is like if you absolutely need to learn it for like a job situation.
Yeah.
And I think the other one was like in a life or death situation. I guess if you had to learn how to ask for help when parachuting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But
okay.
that was kind of a non sequitur. What I'm trying to say is I think seeking out situations where you are forced to put yourself on a different level of importance and be like, this is incredibly necessary that I do this, like being on stage,
Nice.
like doing comedy in German, like writing in German, I find like just for yourself to be very helpful. Just figuring out how you can articulate your thoughts in a way that maybe no one else is even going to look at them. Not that anyone wouldn't want to look at your thoughts, but just so you don't feel judged from people who are who might be reading your stuff. And just endless repetition. No one wants to hear that. But I think the only reason why I got so far in German is because every single decision that I made, like academically or professionally, just sort of like shot me in that direction. And I didn't have any other way to get out of it. And then it became very intoxicating over time because I was like, oh, I can have a whole different view of this culture and a whole different entrance into this culture because I speak the language and because I'm getting better at speaking the language. So I feel like push yourself into your over the first sort of hill, and then it kind of turns into this like, you know, Zug train where you're like
Pulse.
just
To get
cruising.
momentum. Once you have a certain level of fluency,
Yeah,
which is like what I assume is like you can understand when people are talking.
for sure.
Yeah, I want to get to the I can overhear people level.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Get to the level where like you get in the subway and the guy who's driving makes a shitty comment about people trying to get in, and then like when you can laugh with the other people in the car, like
Okay, interesting.
it's a good goal to have.
But your big turning point was the theater.
Yes.
It seems like. Okay.
Definitely.
Did you use, but even get down to, did you use flashcards? Did you had tests and you had vocabulary lists and you had flashcards and conjugation tables, whatnot?
You mean just for like standard
When
like
you were
learning
learning.
word?
Yeah.
Okay, actually that is something I forgot. Obviously we had vocabulary lists where we had to learn everything and like how to use them. But I think what was most helpful for me was just figuring out the things that I naturally talked about all the time and then figuring out how to say those in German.
Okay.
That like was the biggest. It was that in theater.
Okay.
Because if you're like naturally a philosophical person, or you talk about history a lot, or you talk about, comedy a lot, or you deal with certain people who are in this specific realm, then figuring out how to say the things that you normally talk about in the new language is a really good way to...
Relevant vocabulary, verbs, conjugation. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a short break and we'll come back auf Deutsch.
Excellent.
Und hier sind wir und wir sprechen Deutsch. Danke, Robin, für Sprechen Deutsch mit mir.
Gerne. Wir sind jetzt
Kannst du sprichst mehr, bitte?
Worüber sollte ich sprechen? Ja, schön, dass du das machst. Ich finde es sehr mutig, dass du einfach auf einmal einen Podcast machst, wenn du dich noch nicht so wohl fühlst auf Deutsch, dass du zum Beispiel Comedy machen könntest.
Ja.
Ich finde das großartig, dass du das
mutig
einfach versuchst. Ja.
Das ist mehr mutig. Wir sind mutig. Ich glaube nicht mutig. Woher kommst du?
Ich komme...
Das ist alles mein Deutsch. Woher kommst du?
Das ist alles mein Deutsch.
Wie heißen Sie?
Did you just translate German to German?
Ja, stop. Ja, aber egal. Ja, ich habe kein Problem.
German to German.
Mutig!
Google said mutig.
Mutig ist mutig. Mutig.
Oh, you have to be nice to me auf Deutsch.
Mutig ist dasselbe. In jeder Sprache, wer sich traut, eine neue Sprache zu lernen und zu sprechen, ist mutig. Punkt. Deswegen war die Übersetzung gleich auf beiden Seiten. Ich sag's einfach mal so. Ich komme ursprünglich aus den USA, aus Vermont.
Vermont.
Und
ich liebe Vermont.
Ich auch, ja. Ich vermisse Vermont tatsächlich. Bundesstaat der grünen Bergen.
Bundesstaat der grünen Bergen. Für Weihnachten riechst du nach Vermont? Wieder?
Über Weihnachten fliege ich, beziehungsweise reise ich über Boston nach Vermont.
Über Boston.
Genau, weil in Vermont gibt es keinen Flughafen.
Was machst du für Weihnachten mit deiner Familie? Familien.
Sehr viel Familie.
Mit deiner Familie,
mit deiner
danke.
Familie, ja. Ich habe nicht mehrere Familien, das wäre...
Nur eine Familie.
So viele Familien. Die Familie.
So viele Familien.
Zu viele Weihnachten.
Zu viele.
Wir werden sehr viel essen, wahrscheinlich. Sehr viel
Welche
Skifahren.
Essen? Bitte.
Und
Skifahren?
Skifahren,
später,
wenn es Schnee gibt.
Wenn es Schnee gibt.
Genau. Wir wissen noch nicht wegen Klimawandel und so, aber das war so ein dummer Satz.
Klimawandel.
Wir wissen nicht, weil Klimawandel und so.
Danke für Sprechen über Klimawandel. Danke sehr.
Gerne.
Super.
Ich habe gedacht, das ist wichtig.
Ich hatte nicht gefragt, du
hättest mich nicht gefragt.
Danke.
Ja.
Ja.
Das mit dir und mir und das mit den Verben ist schwierig.
Ja.
Zum Beispiel, ich versuche
schwierig.
dir zu helfen auf diesem Podcast mit deinem Deutsch.
Nein?
Okay. Oder doch
aber bitte. Aber das ist...
Doch, nein. Aber ich finde, egal. Aber ich finde es manchmal schwierig, wenn man aus einem englischen Kontext oder aus einem amerikanischen Kontext auf einmal neue Verbindungen oder Zusammenhänge zwischen Verben und Pronomen oder sonst irgendwas, irgendwie alles mit Grammatik ist nicht immer eindeutig, wie man das macht auf Deutsch. Wie man das auf Deutsch macht. Schwierig.
Mir, dir, alles ist schwierig,
Ja. Wir werden sehr viel essen, sehr viel Skifahren.
Welche Essen isst du für Weihnachten? Welche Essen für Weihnachten isst du?
Ja?
Danke.
Das versteht man, ja?
Ja.
Traditionell bei uns, ich weiß nicht, ich glaube, ich muss das einfach nur beschreiben. Wir haben irgendein Fleischgericht normalerweise,
Welche
weiß nicht,
Fleisch?
Schinken oder
Schinken.
sonst irgendwas.
Schinken ist sehr amerikanisch für Weihnachten.
Sehr. Und wir machen normalerweise unser eigenes Brot. Und das schmeckt immer ganz gut. Und dann, keine Ahnung, Kartoffeln mit Rosmarin und die normalen Sachen, die man sich so vorstellen kann.
Ja.
Und sehr viel Knoblauch immer. Weil mein Vater der Meinung ist, zu viel Knoblauch ist die perfekte Menge. Zu viel, also sehr viel Knoblauch ist perfekt. Oh Gott.
Bist du Italienisch?
Nein. Englisch.
Du bist Englisch.
Oder nicht Deutsch. Niederländ. Also meine Familie kommt ursprünglich aus den Niederlanden.
Aber ja, weil du bist groß.
Relativ, ja. Schon relativ groß. Na, aber es ist tatsächlich witzig. Meine Familie hat früher, also mein Nachname ist Vincent, was in Österreich ein bisschen schwierig ist, weil die Leute glauben, es ist einfach ein männlicher Vorname. Aber wurscht. Mein Nachname ist Vincent und es war ursprünglich Van der Kaak.
So, ja.
Van der Kaak war der ursprüngliche Name aus den Niederlanden, als meine Familie rübergekommen ist.
Das ist dein Spielname oder wie heißt das? Die Name...
Künstlername.
Künstlername?
Ja.
Das ist dein erster Künstlername.
Ja.
War
Ich habe
Van
mir
der
das
Kaak.
überlegt, dass ich das als Künstlername habe, aber dann bin ich mir so dumm vorgekommen, dass ich das abgeschafft habe und mir gesagt habe, nein, okay, ich bleibe einfach bei... Ich hab noch keinen Künstlernamen.
Ja.
Hast du einen Künstlernamen?
Nein, und ich war eine Lehrer mit Kindern und das ist ein Problem, weil meine Studenten finden meine Video. Das ist eine
schwierig.
Sehr großes Problem. Aber ich bin nicht Lehrer. Ich bin nicht Lehrer. Nein, ich bin nicht Lehrer jetzt.
Deine Studentinnen haben dich gefunden und deswegen bist du nicht mehr Lehrer, oder
ja,
wie?
Meine Studentin ist jetzt 28 oder so.
Okay.
Sehr alt und kauft ihre Karte jetzt oder kauft ihre für die Show. Was ist da die Entrance-Karte? Nein.
Also zahlt Eintritt bei deinen Shows, oder?
Ja.
Okay. Alles klar.
Ja.
Sie kommt zu deinen Shows. Okay.
Ich bin nicht lustig auf Deutsch. Aber dein Vater ist Van der Kaak oder deine Mutter ist Van der Kaak?
Ich glaube, väterlicherseits ist der Name gekommen. Also mein Vater, Urgroßvater.
Ja, Urgroßvater.
Glaube ich.
Und du bist nicht Van der Kaak?
Nein, ich bin nicht mehr.
Vermisst du die Essen von Thanksgiving?
Ja, tatsächlich schon. Also
Was hast du
ob ich das
am Thanksgiving essen?
Ob ich das generell vermisse aus den USA oder ob ich was letzte Woche gegessen habe, das sehr geil war. Oder was war die Frage?
Was Essen vermisst die?
Ja, okay. Also das Essen, das ich am meisten vermisse, ist, glaube ich, die Süßkartoffeln, die mein Onkel immer gemacht hat.
Süßkartoffeln.
Er hat immer Süßkartoffeln püriert und dann irgendwie sehr heiß gebacken mit so Zucker, also Marshmallows.
Ja.
Obendrauf.
Wie heißt das auf Deutsch, Marshmallow? Keine Ahnung.
Keine Ahnung.
Paul? Nein?
Marshmallows ist Marshmallow und dann
Marshmallow.
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 Zucker, Schaumstoff.
Schaumstoff.
Ja.
Das hört sich
Schaumstoff.
überhaupt nicht lecker an.
Nein,
Schaumstoff.
das ist wirklich, ja.
Schaumstoff. Das ist irgendwie so Foam Stuff.
Aber
Nicht gut. Schaumstoff.
Aber Süßkartoffeln mit Marshmallow ist sehr lecker.
Hast du ein Lieblings-Thanksgiving-Essen?
Grünbohnen.
Grüne Bohnen, oder?
Grüne Bohnen, danke. Grüne Bohnen, Casserole. Casserole ist
Auflauf.
Casserole. Ja.
Auflauf.
Auflauf ist Casserole?
Auflauf.
Nein.
Doch, oder?
Ja.
Auflauf.
Auflauf.
Ich weiß es nicht.
Na,
Grünbohnenauflauf.
Überbackener, oder?
Überbacken,
Ja,
überbacken.
Backener.
Überbackener Auflauf, was auch lustig ist, weil eine eine riesige Gruppe von Menschen kann man auch als Auflauf bezeichnen. Weil das
Auflauf.
quasi es so viel auf einem Platz ist, dass es dann aufgeht.
Auflauf.
Weißt du, was ich meine? Es ist irgendwie so ein Auflauf von Menschen, weil so viel in diesem kleinen Raum eingepackt
So, wir
ist.
können sagen, das ist ein Auflauf.
Das ist ein Auflauf. Boah, es war ein Auflauf da.
Es ist ein Auflauf,
Auf dem Weihnachtsmarkt zum Beispiel kann ein Auflauf sein, weil so
Auflauf.
viele Leute da sind.
Ja. Auflauf.
Auflauf ist
Und-
irgendwie ein lustiges Wort.
Was hast du am Thanksgiving hier essen?
Was habe ich gegessen? Ich glaube, ich habe gar nichts Besonderes gegessen
Ja.
eigentlich. Na, ich hab einen Apple Pie probiert. Nicht Apfelkuchen, das du gemacht hast. für die
Meine
Comedy Show.
Apfelkuchen.
Genau, Terence hat eine nicht besonders wunderschöne, aber,
Danke.
aber sehr leckere Apfelstrudel, Auflauf, Pie gemacht. Und
Es
war
war
sehr gut.
nicht Strudel, es war
Ich weiß,
Torte.
aber so versteht man das im deutschen
Ja.
Kontext, weißt du? Sonst muss man das
Es war eine Apple Pie.
so eine Apple Pie. Aber das macht man irgendwie, habe ich das Gefühl, wenn es so eine englische Sache ist, dann sagt man schon das Apple Pie.
Apple Pie. Ich habe eine Apple Pie gemacht.
Ja? Genau, das habe ich gegessen.
Bitte
Aber
koste mein Apple Pie. Apple Pie.
es klingt wie AI, so ein bisschen diese komische Stimme, die man immer irgendwie am Computer hört, so Apple Pie.
Apple Pie.
Naja,
Das ist super. Und jetzt, wie lang wohnst du in Wien? 2 Jahre?
fast 3 Jahre mittlerweile.
Fast 3 Jahre.
Ja.
Und wie gefällt's dir über Wien? Wie gefällt's
Wien-
dir über Wien? Entschuldigung.
Ja, genau.
Danke.
Wien gefällt mir sehr gut. Ich mag die Kultur da natürlich. Ich mag, dass es eine große Szene gibt. Vor allem die Comedy-Szene ist klein genug,
Ja, klein genug.
dass man sich mit den Menschen gut verstehen kann, dass man sich regelmäßig sieht. Aber auch groß genug, dass man bei sehr vielen unterschiedlichen Lokale auftreten kann. Das finde ich auch ganz interessant, weil dann sieht man einfach andere Ecken von Wien. Also die Natur ist auch relativ, also auch in der Nähe. Du kommst sehr schnell zum Wandern oder
Ja,
zu
man kann
irgendwelchen Seen.
wandern.
Also man kann sehr viel machen in Wien.
Welche Kultur?
Theater. Filme,
Welche Theater? Ich weiß es nicht.
Ach so,
welche Theater?
ja, also
Burgtheater
Theaterstücke.
oder Oper?
Im Burgtheater war ich, glaube 2-mal. Und ich kann. Also
Volkstheater? Volkstheater ist die beste.
Volkstheater ist
Paul
das
sagt, das ist
Beste.
die beste.
Wirklich?
Paul, ich weiß es nicht, Paul.
Okay. Warst du schon mal bei einem
Nein, auf Deutsch.
Theaterstück?
Ich habe eine Show gesehen. Es war The Raven. Es war Edgar Allan Poe, aber es
Untertitel.
Also
Untertitel.
mit Untertiteln, ja.
Nein, kein Untertitel.
Ach so.
Translate. Es war Translate auf. Es war Edgar Allan Poe auf Deutsch.
Okay.
Ich habe gesehen.
Übersetzt.
Komplett
Übersetzt, danke.
okay.
Es war ein Übersetzen von Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
Das war
Ja,
komisch. Das ist komisch. Ich spreche Englisch, aber ich muss Edgar Allan Poe auf Deutsch
Deutsch.
hören. Es ist komisch.
Aber so, ich glaube, deswegen lesen so viele Leute, also zumindest haben Leute das gemacht an meiner Uni, die auch in den deutschen Kursen waren. Die haben Harry Potter auf Deutsch gelesen, weil die Geschichten
Ja.
schon gekannt haben. Und das hilft irgendwie, wenn man dann so neue Verben oder den neuen
Super.
Satzbau verstehen muss.
Super.
Also das kann ich dir auch
Super.
empfehlen.
Ich habe Harry Potter, das erste Harry Potter Buch auf Deutsch jetzt.
Ja.
Ich habe schon,
Ja, oder andere Bücher, die dir einfach generell gut gefallen, also Romane oder sonst irgendwas in die Richtung. Wenn es eine gute deutsche Übersetzung gibt,
cool. Ich würde.
kannst du es lesen. Ja.
Super.
Geheimtipp.
Geheimtipp.
Zwinker.
Science Fiction auf Deutsch übersetzt. Viele technische Wörter,
Ja.
die du wirklich brauchst im Deutschen. Auch.
Wirklich?
Ja, sicher, natürlich. Du musst,
Okay.
weil du
Science Fiction has wie so viel Techniker wird. Das ist nicht gut für mich, ja?
am Anfang vielleicht nicht, aber dann später sehr wichtig, weil du möchtest nicht wie ein Trottel dich anhören, wenn du über etwas, zum Beispiel beim Auto.
Ja, okay.
Ja.
Das ist ein
Vom Auto.
Bremsbelag,
Ja.
Das stimmt, ja, das ist mein
Brake
Problem
pads.
immer noch. Ja.
Bremsbelag, ja.
Ja.
Weißt du, und in einem Science-Fiction-Buch siehst du die Wörter viel öfter als in anderen
Ach so.
Ja, das stimmt.
Ja, so.
Außerdem haben die technischen Wörter öfters irgendwie viel mehr oder einen leichter erkennbaren Bezug zu den englischen Wörtern, weil du merkst, sie kommen meistens aus dem Lateinischen oder haben Teile, die einfach irgendwie an die englischen Versionen erinnern, und dann hilft das, dass du die Bedeutung automatisch verstehst oder verstehen könntest.
Ja, ich würde machen das.
Ich habe einen Stapel an Büchern für dich.
Super. Harry Potter das ist sehr jetzt sehr schwer für mich.
Nice.
Und magst du in Wien wollen für
In Wien bleiben für
in die
ewig und immer.
Zukunft? Ja.
Ich weiß es noch nicht. Ich bleibe zumindest bis zum Ende meines Masterstudiums in Wien. Das ist mir wichtig, weil ich meinen Master in Übersetzung mache. Deswegen hilft mir das auch, so diesen Austausch.
Du hast noch nicht deine Master...
Nein, ich muss das noch fertig machen. Ich habe die meisten Kurse schon abgeschlossen, aber ich muss noch meine Masterarbeit schreiben und ein paar andere Sachen machen. Aber bis zum Ende meines Studiums bleibe ich auf jeden Fall in Wien. Und dann weiß ich nicht genau, wo mich das Leben hinschleppt, beziehungsweise hintreibt.
Wen schleppt? Hinschleppt?
Ich weiß nicht, ob man das überhaupt sagen kann.
Dragged around.
Ja.
Oh, schleppt, ja,
Schleppen.
Schlepp ist wie,
Ja.
auf Jiddisch schlepp, ja,
Genau.
eine lange Gange. Lange Gange. Das ist schwer.
Das ist schwierig, wenn du sehr viel trägst, zum Beispiel am Tag davor, und dann kannst du nicht aufstehen, weil du zu viel getragen hast, dann hast du vielleicht overschleppt.
Okay. Sehr lustig. Overschleppt. Das ist, Paul lebt das. Paul ist
sehr begeistert von dem.
Paul.
Schlechte Wortspiele gehen sehr, sehr gut auf Deutsch, finde ich. Du kannst immer zurück auf schlechte Wortspiele greifen.
Schleppt. Super.
Gibt es etwas auf Deutsch oder mit der deutschen Sprache, die für dich sehr schwierig ist? Also wo du halt nicht, du hast es noch nicht gemeistert oder du fühlst dich, oder es fällt dir schwer?
Deutsch ist schwer.
Deutsch ist schwer. Deutsche Sprache, schwere Sprache.
Ich kann Deutsch verstanden, ein bisschen, aber es muss sehr langsam sein und ich kann nicht alles der Wörter erinnern.
Du kannst dich nicht an alles erinnern?
Erinnern. Ich habe so viele Wörter gelernt, aber ich kann nicht erinnern.
Mhm. Deswegen hilft das, wenn du die ganzen Themen, die du normalerweise sprichst, einfach auf Deutsch dann übersetzt und dann ist es leichter, irgendwie sich die Wörter zu merken.
Eine neue, Entschuldigung.
Nichts passiert.
Wenn
du, was ich vorher gesagt habe mit den Konzepten oder mit Wörtern oder mit Themen, wo du dich auf Englisch wohlfühlst, wo du dann sehr viel über diese Themen sprichst, wenn du die Wörter einfach auf Deutsch dann hast im Kopf, dann kriegst du dann diesen Sprachrhythmus wieder und dann wird es dir leichter fallen, weiter zu reden über andere Themen, wo du vielleicht noch nicht alle Wörter hast.
Ja, die Themen, das ist wichtig. Für diese Show, ich würde anderes Themen haben. Und das ist besser. Und vor der Show oder bevor ich spreche mit meine Gäste, meine...
Bevor du mit
Was bist du hier? Was machst du hier?
Was machst du denn?
Was machst du denn
hier? Ich habe dich gerade erst beobachtet. Oh mein Gott, wie bist du in diesen Raum gekommen?
Wie heißt das?
Ich bin Gast, glaube ich.
Gast. Oder? Ja, Gasthaus. Oh, come on. Okay,
genau.
Gasthaus. Mit jedem Gast, ich würde haben ein Thema. Ich würde...
jedes Mal ein neues Thema sozusagen.
Haben, ja.
Oder für jede...
Ja.
Jedes Mal ein neues Thema.
Ja.
Das ist gut, das ist abwechslungsreich. Das braucht man.
Meine Mund sind müde. Meine Kopf sind müde. Mein Kopf ist müde. Und ich bin ein bisschen dumm.
Nein,
Danke.
Sag das nicht.
Sag das nicht.
Du
musst
nicht
musst
dumm.
du nicht meine Mutter sein. Danke.
Ja, ich weiß.
Aber,
ich mache das automatisch, aber ich kenne das Gefühl.
Danke.
Das Problem habe ich immer noch eigentlich, Paul hat gerade gesagt, wenn man keine technischen Begriffe hat oder wenn man etwas technisch nicht beschreiben kann, dann fühlt man sich auch dumm. Vor allem, wenn ich über Politik oder über Weltereignisse oder sonst irgendwas, das halt für Erwachsene sehr wichtig ist, dann fehlen mir auch manchmal die Wörter. Und das ist so nervig, weil dann hat man das Gefühl, ich hab den Gedanken, ich habe ein Thema, ich weiß, was ich sagen will, aber ich kann es nicht sagen, dass die anderen Leute das verstehen und dass die auch verstehen, dass ich das verstehe.
Ja.
Wenn das Sinn ergibt. Aber das kommt noch. Oder das wird.
Man muss schon dumm aus verlernen.
Man muss anfangen, sich wohl zu fühlen, auch wenn man sich dumm fühlt.
Ja, okay. Und das ist alles. Danke, Robin.
Gerne.
Du bist super Gast. Danke. Und we will see you soon. Oh my God, doesn't it feel so good to... It's like taking off my bra after a long day. Grüß Gott und auf Wiedersehen. Thank you for listening.
Servus.
What do you think? Just in the wrap up, what do you think? That was... I'm
Was
really...
that stressful?
It was stressful for me, but I can feel it. I feel dumb.
You feel dumb and then it gets better.
It feels like I'm in a car that doesn't only goes in first gear, you know, and I'm like in a race.
I could hear the gears turning.
Yeah, the gear.
And the was like,
I keep stalling.
It's okay. It's okay. You're just gonna be a little gentle on your clutch, and it'll work.
Yeah.
It'll work.
Speaking of great German words, stalling the
when you stall an engine, what's it called?
Abwürgen.
Abwürgen.
Just choking the crap out of your car.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
crazy. Weird. You know, they
that.
call sometimes in English they call the choke sometimes.
Yeah.
The choke.
Yeah.
Not the clutch, but something else on an engine is called the choke.
Mm-hmm. Old engines.
Yeah, it lets gas into.
Now it's an automatic choke.
I was gonna say my technical knowledge is also bad in English. Apparently, I don't know.
The engine's really kinky because you have to choke it to turn it on.
Kink in the machine.
I got it out. It's good to be back in English. It's like,
does it feel good? Do you feel funny again?
I see. I feel so good. But thank you very much, Robin. That's great. Where could they find you? Where can they find you?
If you're interested in English comedy, I host a show every Thursday, and otherwise you can follow me on Instagram at little.bird. No, wait, no, it's not bird. Fuck, I messed that up.
It's bird.
It's little bird comedy, but it's underscores, not dots. I messed up my own name. It's little_comedy. No.
It will be a link in the description.
Whatever. There'll be a link in the
Link
description.
below. It's little_bird underscore comedy.
I'm so good at advocating for,
It's little bird comedy with underscores.
Eigenwerbung fällt mir schwer. Yeah.
Thanks for
great to
doing
be
it.
here.
Thanks for having me. Dankeschön, everybody. See you later.
Danke.
Dankeschön.